Welcome back, everyone. Brand new week here on the Cabral Concept. We're here today with our Mindset and Motivation Monday show, and I can't wait to get into today's topic, which to me is one of life's best kept secrets. It's also one of life's interesting paradoxes, and it seems to have quite an effect on most of the people that I know. So I want to share this show with you, really, I think, bring it to real world based status. What does it mean to you? What could it mean for you to be able to achieve many more of your life's goals and desires and dreams? So one of the big issues, though, that prevents us from probably doing more or wanting to become more is just how busy we really are in life. And I totally get it. And I've been reflecting a little bit on this because as I look and I just say, I know what it would take for someone to improve their overall health or their body or their relationships or their level of happiness and really moving towards their potential. And I know that the plan that would need to be implemented, and I know that it wouldn't take a lot more work, but I also understand why sometimes people are reluctant to get started. And sometimes it's that fear of failure that I've talked about in the past, or maybe it might be even a fear of success. What would happen if they were successful? How would life change? Would people treat them differently? Would people look at them differently? I totally get it. I understand the amount of acceptance that people crave and they do want in their life. And I get that. It makes sense. But part of it is just the level of busyness and the routine that we've all, I would say, succumb to. And the reason why that this really kind of hit home for me is I even see it in my own family life with my own daughters. When I was thinking about it, you know, it's quite interesting, and I'm not sure that there is a direct solution to the overall system. But let's just take, for example, my oldest daughter. She's up in the morning. She leaves the house by right around 7:30 or so for school. She's in school then from about 8:15 until 3:15, 3:30 every single day. Okay, so basically from when she wakes up a little before 7 to when she has to leave the house to when she gets out of school, let's say at 3:30, that's her entire day so far is dedicated to school. But now that she's a little older, she has sports practice after school. And she has practice Monday through Thursday. Okay, so Monday through Thursday, she now is booked until 5:15 at night. So she's essentially, let's say for all intents and purposes, she's gone from 7:15 to 5:15 every single day. That is a long day. It's a long day for any human, but especially a 10-year-old, right? I mean, I really believe that is a long day. Now, that doesn't include any of the homework that she may have been assigned that she also has to do once she's out of sports-based practice. And we sit down as a family for dinner around 5:45, 6 o'clock at night. So she's back. She has dinner with us, and of course, the whole family, we have dinner together. And then after that, maybe there's an hour or so before time to get ready for bed. Well, you can see that if she's then doing her homework during that time, if that's assigned, there's not a lot of time at all for her to be a kid and just overall enjoy and relax. And when I think about that, I think about it, yes, this is a 10-year-old. They want to have fun. She wants to play with her sister. She wants to relax and enjoy before doing it all over again. But I mean, how much, if you look at that, is it really just the same as an adult? So adult, they get up, they get ready, they go to work in the morning. Now, their work might be taking their kids to school, running errands, doing whatever it might be. But again, it's whatever your job is, right? Whatever your job is. And to me, I mean, I always say, and I've said this many, many times, there's no more important job than someone who's raising their children. Now, there's a lot of people who raise their children. They work another job. They might even work another job. So again, what I'm trying to say is most people, especially during whether they're going to school, if you're a student right now, or you have a job, is you're busy, right? And you're busy and probably until that 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock time at night. Now, again, you might be going a little bit to bed later, of course, than my daughter. So maybe you get a couple more hours out of the day, but you also probably have more responsibilities. So what I'm saying is for most of us, we're really locked up for a good 10, 12 hours of the day. Now, if we go back to my previous podcast, though, I've done one before, and I'll link it up here today at episode 2432. So if you go to stephencabral.com/2432, I'll link up a few previous ones. One of them is the missing 6 hours per day. And the other is throwing away your to-do list and doing this instead. Because no matter how we slice it, even though we are all extremely busy, you're busy, I'm busy, there's still about 4 hours to 6 hours that we can begin to carve back in our day. Because even if you're working for 12 hours a day, and I know there's many people out there that are, there's still 4 more hours if you're getting 8 hours of sleep. Now, if you're getting less sleep, of course, you've got a little bit more. So what I'm saying to you right now is that I know you're busy. I know you probably don't have a whole lot of extra energy right now, which we should work on, we should address. I truly believe, and it's one of the reasons why the tagline of the show is remain, change your body, change your life, is because if you don't have the energy, right? If you don't have the vitality in your body, it is difficult then to be able to do any extra. And it is the extra, though, that's going to allow you to get to that next level in life. And the next level in life might not even be exactly where you want to end up, but it's the step before you get to the next step. And I think that's often also what we overlook, is that we think that we're going to jump from where we are now, take this quantum leap to exactly where we want to be, and skip all of the steps in between. I was having a great conversation with one of my brother-in-laws the other day. And it doesn't really matter what they were looking to achieve, but they're looking to achieve X. Now you fill in whatever you want your goal to be for X. Think about what you want out of life if you could have anything that you want. And so they were telling me, hey, like, this is what I'm looking to achieve. And I was like, well, that's absolutely fantastic. And I said, but I think that you're probably 2 to 3 jumps from that. Now, again, don't discount that you could jump from where you are now to that last step. Don't discount that. But too many people, they wait for the opportunity that they believe will come for them to make that quantum jump right to their goal. I said it may be easier and probably more realistic if you make the 3 jumps. Maybe it's only 2. And the reason is that you need to probably pick up some learnings along the way that'll enable you to get to that final destination. And then you'll be able to hold on to it longer because you knew how you got there, right? You were able to ascertain who you needed to become, the skills you needed to learn in order to achieve what you want. And I think they understood at that point, like, no matter what, you had to achieve this on the goal to that anyway. So you might as well move to that next step, move to that next level. And that next level is most likely not going to take the same level of effort and maybe even time that would to ultimately get to your goal. So again, when you're looking at this, it's not about necessarily having to have an extra 8 hours a day. It's maybe an extra, as I say, 2 30-minute blocks per day. And I'm a big advocate of that. I really am. I believe that you can get so much done in life with 2 30-minute blocks per day. Upon waking and before bed are typically the easiest for most people. But some people, depending on your partner, your spouse, your relationship, where you're at right now in life, it might be better for you to do 1 in the morning and then 1 at lunch. That's typically what I do. And the reason why I like to do that is that once my kids are in bed, I like to dedicate that time. I've already done a lot of work for the day. I like to dedicate that time for my wife and I's time. So that's how I do it. But again, you can choose where you're at in your life and what you need to do. And there have been points in my life where I then said, okay, after everybody's in bed, I've got to work a little bit more. I've always been one to wake up earlier because it's the quietest time of the day. It really is. There's more people up at night than there are people up in the morning. Trust me that there's very few people up between 5 and 6 in the morning or 5:30 to 6:30 in the morning. Very few people. So I love that hour. That's an hour that I can just say, okay, my family's not going to be up till 6:30. So for me, I get up at 6, I have a half hour. If I get up at 5:30, I've got an hour. Now you might say, well, I need to get more sleep. Totally agree. That's why I try to get to bed between 9:30 and 10 at night. I don't want to go to bed between 9:30 and 10, to be honest with you. I don't. I'd rather stay up later. But what I do want is to get up a little bit earlier. And so that priority takes precedence over me going to bed at 10:30, 11, which would be my preferred bedtime. But it's okay. The trade-off to me is worth it. And here's why, and here's the gist, and here's the lesson that I wanted to share with you. And it is, I believe, life's great paradox, that all of this takes work, right? It really does. It's hard work. And one of the best lines I've ever heard, though, is that the more you do the hard work, the easier life gets. I just want to repeat that one more time. The more hard work you do, the easier life gets. And it's very strange when you think about it, and it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. But let's just take our bodies, for example. Let's say you exercise most days of the week. You go for your walks, do some weight training, maybe a little cardio, do some yoga, whatever works for you and your body, right? And then you're eating well. Not all the time, but you're eating well 90% of the time. 9 out of 10 meals, you're eating the right foods, nourishing your body. Okay, the likelihood, now that's not easy, right? It's so much easier just to have a pizza at night, a muffin and coffee in the morning, and buying a sandwich or something at lunch. That's way easier. It really is. And it's probably less expensive because you can buy any one of those things for like under $10. It's still not cheap, right? I mean, getting a muffin and a coffee is probably still like $10, but still, I guess you could go probably somewhere and get it for cheaper, yes. But what I'm saying is it's easier. It takes less effort. It takes less brain power. But over time, those things are going to run you down. They really are. And you're certainly not going to have the energy then to want to exercise. So eating healthy, it definitely takes more work. Exercising certainly takes more work than not exercising. The interesting thing is this: by doing those harder things, by making those harder decisions, the rest of your life, when you're not doing those things like exercising, is so much easier. Meaning like every time there's an effort that takes a requirement for your body, such as like, oh, you want to go out for a hike, you want to go out for a longer walk, you want to move, like I'm moving my office again. I have to move all the things out. That all takes effort. Now, when I do those things with my body, they are not hard because I lift weights 3 times a week. I do cardio. I get in my steps. I do these things, so they're not hard, right? I have the energy to be able to work 12 hours a day if I want to. It's not difficult for me. I have energy for my family and I have energy for my work. But I take care of my body with the de-stress protocol, right? The diet, the exercise, the stress reduction, the toxin removal, the scientifically based supplements, going to bed at 9:30, 10, even though I don't necessarily want to, but then it gives me the energy to do everything that I want in life, that I don't have to rely on extra caffeine or whatever it might be. So those are harder things, right? In relationships, people's relationships oftentimes start to go downhill after a while. Well, are you still doing the hard things that in the beginning weren't so hard, right? Like, hey, are you still chatting with your spouse during the day? Are you still doing nice and kind things for them? Are you still adding surprises? Are you still going out to dinners together? Are you still doing those things? Because, well, those take effort. Effort is more work. That's hard, right? So if we do those things, they take effort in the moment. But then guess what? That's a finite period of time. And then it lasts, it makes the relationship easier, right? That's how I look at it. And the same again with spirituality or even just mood. I see so many people in a low mood, a depressed state. And I understand that. And there's a lot that goes into it. And I'm very sensitive to that issue, especially since I've worked with so many people with depression and mental health based imbalances and people in my own family and friends and practice. So I'm, again, very sensitive to that issue. But at the same time, we have to understand is like, I've seen dramatic results with sauna, with cold therapy, with meditation, with exercise, with walking, like with red light, with supplements, with all of these things. And so if you're not doing any of those things, it leads to a harder life because you're not in a good spot in your life. So although life may not seem easy right now, and we all go through those stages and phases, so don't get me wrong, but if life seems consistently difficult, challenging, and it's putting you in a low mood over and over, one of the best ways that I've ever found to overcome that, and I've been there myself many, many times, is with hard work, with doing the things that I don't necessarily want to do. But I always say to myself, the time's going to pass anyway. I can block off 30 minutes a day to focus on those specific things. That's my priority as of right now. So that's why we have to categorize what our priority is right now in life. And I can begin to work on those because the likelihood that they pay off is high because many other people have done them in the past and it's worked for them. I may as well try that because again, there's almost no downside to exercising, eating well, getting better sleep, detoxifying the body, working on your mindset. Like there's almost no downside. So if we begin to do those things gradually, everything becomes easier. And I want to share with you one more point as to why this is that, and I have a previous podcast on this too, everything in life is basically a hermetic stressor. So what does that mean? It means that it's something that calluses the body. So when you first start working out, your skin gets a little rougher around your hands, especially where you grip the weights, right? Over time, that skin gets thicker or more calloused. And what it allows you to do, though, is pick up any of those metal-based weights with relatively ease, and you don't feel anything on your hands. Your body gets used to it over time. Well, the same thing is also true. The less you use it, the softer that skin gets, right? There's no callus needed. So what happens in life, no matter what, if we are either doing the hard work, everything else, but beyond or beneath, I should say, that level of hard work seems easy. So one of the interesting things, and one of the guys, I mean, this is just like, this is the nth degree, is someone like a Cameron Hanes. He's a bow hunter, and he's often run a marathon 4 times a week. I mean, that seems insane, right? 26 miles or more 4 times a week? That doesn't even seem humanly possible. Well, he tells a story of how he started, and I'm not recommending you do a marathon. I'm not recommending a marathon in general, but keep in mind, he started with doing less than a mile, gradually built up to that. His body is now able to recover from and is used to doing a marathon even 2 days in a row. Most people, I mean, that would absolutely destroy their knees, their ankles, their lower back. I mean, it would be way too much. This is just an example. But when he stops doing that, and let's say he drops down to a 5K, 3.1 miles, his body will also get used to doing 3.1 miles. So I just ask you, what have you maybe dropped down to that your body is now used to? So when you think about doing anything above that, it seems really hard. So my goal is to actually do a lot of hard things. So then when I see the easy stuff, I'm like, it's easy, right? My kids go ask me to play. Yeah, no problem. Plenty of energy. You can go out there, go play with them, go play outside, hop in the pool, like whatever it might be. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Oh, my team's asked me to proof this one thing a little later at night. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Take me 10 minutes, no problem. Happy to do that. But only because I've set myself up in a way to be able to make certain challenges part of my growth-based process. Now, this may or may not be for you. I'm not saying that it is, but it's at least something to think about. Because if you find yourself in a hard spot in life, it may just require putting in a little bit more work where the perspective can then shift. Oh, I've already done the work. Wow, things are actually getting easier. I'm telling you right now, I believe it is one of life's best kept secrets and life's greatest paradox. Hopefully this was helpful. As always, if it was, please do feel free to share this show with anyone you believe it could serve.